What's up, World Wide Web? Daddy, your angry toy guy, coming to you live off of my cell phone to do this one today. I'm going to play with this a little bit here, try to get the picture look a little bit better. And I do apologize for anybody that does end up watching this. That's just the way it's going to have to unfortunately be today, because for some reason my computer decided all of a sudden it did not want to do live stream. So while I figure all this out, going to share. Forget it. I'm just not going to do that one. The name of the game tonight was about Too Bad. And I'm trying to still get the computer back up and running. That light is going to be killing me tonight. There. Everybody, check out the new facilities. Newer facilities, put it that way. All right. Let's see. Because like I said, tonight it's going to be about Too Bad. Let's see, script's done, all that fun stuff's done. Okay. What is this? Yeah. I am not. This is really. Okay. Alright, I see what's going on here. So, fortunately tonight I'm just going to have to use this thing and we'll just make the best of it. Now, I apologize for all the technical delays and everything else. Let me shrink it down. Shrink it down. I'm going to double. Alright, so anyway, like I said, tonight we are going to be talking about. This is easier said than done. Multitasking. Too bad tonight. Too bad for everybody who didn't think we were going to do this. Ha ha ha. I'm going to try to get things shared over so everybody can be coming on here and complaining about something. Okay. Yeah. Alright, so anyways. Hello, kitty. Trader. I know what you're looking for. You're looking for your perch. Here. Where's your perch? There. Alright, we'll figure it out later. Anyways, like I said, tonight it's strictly about Too Bad. It's really surprising me the things I seen and everything whenever I was doing my research about Too Bad. Too Bad, in all honesty, is probably like one of my most favorite figures in the line. You know, I love Trapjaw, don't get me wrong, but always loved Too Bad. In fact, a lot of people don't know this. Whenever I was in the service, I took Too Bad, and in fact, I still have it to this day. This right here, I've had this one since I was a kid. He still has dirt on his head from whenever I was a kid. This thing has went with me around the world whenever I was in the service. Couldn't go with me in boot camp, but he was with me afterwards in A school and when I went out on deployments and all that. So he's been quite a few places in his time. It's funny, you know, it says Mattel Incorporated 1984. The flatback one decided he's going to drop his shield. And believe it or not, yes, to this day, it still works. Believe it or not. The shield's not the original one. I had to find a replacement for him, but that world-weary traveler is here. What does... I tell you what, me trying to figure this thing out today is going to be fun. Since I'm usually used to using my normal computer setup for this. I usually only use my phone for like little small things like the other day. But anyways, Too Bad was introduced to us in the Filmation series, believe it or not. He was not planned on prior to that. There's a character they introduced, you know, in the Filmation line, so then they made the toys, of course. It was always looked at as being a dull-witted pair of heads that constantly argued with one another, which in turn caused a lot of mistakes and incurred old Skeletor's wrath quite a lot. However, despite how dull-witted he may have seemed in arguing with himself, he was extremely skilled at operating the Roton. So he was probably, that was probably one of the best things he enjoyed. And for some reason I could see Too Bad with on the Roton. After that, like I said, they started introducing them, figure-wise. And in the mini comics, they portrayed him, pretty much the same as Filmation, but also as a mighty warrior and a pretty good strategist. Now, the 84 German audio plays, he was dubbed as the strategist of terror. I won't have so much fun with this tonight, I swear. In the German audio plays, he didn't go through and argue with himself. Basically spoke with a single voice. Provided his work by sneaking into the palace and discovered the only weakness in He-Man's battle armor. Pretty much was dubbed the strategist of terror. One point got in one point got into a fight with Modulok, held his own against him because Modulok wanted to be the only two-headed monster in Eternia, and his displays of physical and intellectual prowess made him a useful member of Skeletor's horde, or Skeletor's evil warriors. So from there, the UK comic mags, he's portrayed as a master inventor with a workshop that was in a cave near the Snake Mountain. And it's kind of funny because this is like one of those characters, really, that didn't get, didn't get a whole lot of love throughout, different comics, different canons, stuff like that. Kind of sucked. While his two heads did bicker with one another, but whenever they combined their brain power together, they were deadly effective in those. Of course, same time, each head would take credit for the other one's success, and also blame each other for whenever they failed. He did have, overall though, he did have intentions on one day offing Skeletor after they defeated and got rid of He-Man. And in all honesty, that was something that Skeletor did fear. And I can see that. I really can. Because if he had, if both heads were on the same page about things, I could see really where Skeletor would have a really big issue at some point with Too Bad, in all honesty. Okay. From there, we take a look at the 87 Italian Magic Boy magazines, which in there he had a very interesting ability. He could go through and create an illusion that pretty much made him look like his two sides had split apart into two distinct warriors. Thus, I think, was the early beginnings of something that 2000X went with. And I keep trying to look right at the camera, and I'm not sure where it's at on this thing. The beginning of, where we would see, with 2000X, Tuvar and Badra. While they didn't really give them names at that point, the two heads' names, and they hadn't threw out anything else. Always referred to as Too Bad. Started, I think, a little bit where 2000X, like, hey, we can use this, for when we do Too Bad's backstory. But we'll get more into that here in a little bit. Also claimed to possess an Iron Fist, which would probably go to explain why, not only on the vintage version, but on the classics version, we would see that iron gloved hand. Now, the Magic Boy mags, they pretty much showed Too Bad his blue side having a good side. And Teela, one time when she was kidnapped, pretty much told the blue side, hey, I feel sorry for you, having to be hooked to that purple side, and old purple side was a little annoying to her. Blue side did go through later on, and he saved Teela's life. So in turn, she would later go through and actually save Too Bad from He-Man going through and beating Too Bad down even further. What are you doing? Quit. The issues of doing lives with animals. He-Man had already beaten Too Bad. And he was going to continue his assault. And Teela went, whoa, just stop. That blue side ain't too bad. Well, purple side's annoying. That blue side, not too bad. But like I said, it's like it with that right there, they kind of gave. I think this is my personal thought that maybe they were starting to give them a little bit of an idea on what they could do. Too bad. All right, sorry for the interruption. I do not know what the hell's going on. Anyways, now we'll get on over into the MYP series, and apparently Garfield is wanting to join the show. He wants to be on camera. He wants to be seen, or he just wants to cause havoc up here. I don't know. Big orange furry buddy. See yourself? Yeah. Do you? Just think of all the tens of 20s of people who get to see you. Maybe in the future, hundreds and thousands. This video one day will have 100,000 views, and you'll be like a famous cat. Much like that cartoonish orange counterpart of yours, it's also got the same name, huh? Huh? Maybe? You go over and chill out on your perch. Alright, so we're going to go on to the 2000X, where they pretty much, they went through and they actually provided a complete backstory for Too Bad. And this is where it got awesome, because like, hey, we could finally piece something together as far as he goes. Was originally two different bounty warriors by the name of Tuvar and Badra. He was brought to Snake Mountain when Skeletor was searching for mercenaries to go through and trying to find some mercenaries to go through to deal with and eliminate He-Man. The two of them actually could not stand one another. Tuvar was actually very cunning, disciplined, and also very skilled with a wide variety of advanced weaponry. Badra, he was fierce and powerful. Skeletor went through and he hired them both to get rid of He-Man. But they went through and they failed because of their inability to actually work together. They actually tried to do it each one of them tried to do it themselves. Got in the way of the other one. Completely failed. He-Man beat them both. As a result, Skeletor went there and he magically fused the two of them together, thus becoming Too Bad. And as one, they were very proficient in weapons and arsenals. But Too Bad was also very intent on trying to find a way to split himself. He heard of something called the Spell Separation. He thought he could use it to go through and be able to split himself back into the two, back into two. But, because he didn't pay any attention, he didn't fully read. He was like, oh, Spell Separation, hey, that'll work. Didn't check into it. Come find out it was a spell a long time ago. There's a reason why it was all hidden. Because as a result of him going through and performing that spell. Now, he didn't complete it, but he damn near did. And it also almost caused Eternia to be split in two. Now, that being said, believe it or not, when Mattel went through and they started releasing the classics, they actually did not do a classics canon backstory for him. Or at least not one that is in the character Compendium. He also was not seen in any of the early 2012 DC Comics. Now, I don't know about some of the later ones. Could be a good possibility it was there, but no one knew any there. Maybe it wasn't. I don't remember seeing him in any of the Eternia Wars or any of the pre-Eternia Wars comics. I I don't remember seeing him in the Masters of the Universe versus the Thundercats thing either. And I don't remember seeing him in any of the Injustice, so why they never used him, I don't know. I think he would have been a great addition to it all. Of course, then again, they might have been going, he might have went somewhere, said Skeletor, I've had enough. I'm going to go hide in a cave somewhere and do my thing and have fun, buddy. So with that being said, alright, that's what character backstory we got and stuff on Too Bad. So, where do we go from there? Character time. Or figure time. Alright. So, apparently there was multiple versions of the Too Bad figure in the vintage style back in the day. So I'm going to hear. I have never seen one that did not have the arms on the top of the shoulders that swung inward. Could pretty much make it look like he was punching the other one. Get rid of that shield so we can get a better look here. So you could always make it look like you're sitting there punching each other. Somebody said that there was one that had the arms on the side, was flat backed. I don't know, I mean, I've got the flat back one, but it still has the arms up on the top of the shoulders, not on the side. I've never seen that one. Of course, I imagine if I ever do find that one, I'm going to have to pay like a very pretty penny for it. But I mean, both. And somebody said they made the flatback version so you could go through and you could put them in vehicles and stuff like that. And I can see that. But it seems like here they're just taking away from too much with the whole flatback thing. But, probably one of the biggest issues everybody did have this is eventually the spring and everything inside the arms. They had the same kind of setup on both arms as like what you would see with Fisto and Jitsu. They had that spring-loaded arm. Oh, God. I don't care about UNC and Duke. A lot of times, play with them too much, eventually that spring is going to eventually give out. And, like most figures, it's well used, well played with, stuff like that. The legs are starting to get a little wobbly over time, a little loose. And at some point, I'll have to perform the surgery on this one and put new banding in him. But I can say one thing, at least he still actually stands pretty good. Now, the flat back one, it's actually got, still to this day, pretty good, strong rubber in the legs. Yeah, I thought, man, that works. I can sit there and do that and I'll have a look at it. Now, I don't know if somebody went through and colored this one or not. I know, like, purple side's teeth, are white on this one. Compared to the flatback version. Where it looks to be, well, it even looks pink. Now, both of them there, too. I mean, it looked a little pink in me on the teeth here, too. So I don't know, because I got this one at a flea market not too long ago. Now, 2000X, they did release a figure like it. Sculpt was awesome on it. Now, me and the 2000X figures, you don't really have a lot of articulate or movable parts, stuff like that. They're pretty statuesque. The waist turns, head turns, arms move, legs will only move so much. But I mean, they did a fan-freaking-tastic job on the art, on the sculpture on that one.
By the power of Grayskull! By the power of Grayskull!
I should have muted all that. Now, they went through and they gave us where Too Bad had his arms to the side. Gave him his mace that you'd see in 2000X. You never saw it in the Filmation. Gave him his shield like what he'd have in Filmation or with the vintage toys. Gave him a lot more sculpture and detail with the heads. Boy, and overall, I mean, they did a fantastic job, with everything. Giving him the two different sides and all that. Stands fairly well. He didn't have a whole lot of issues with close that thing down. It's driving me nuts. Hey, well, it darkened it up a little bit. I didn't have that white screen look at me. They still gave him the Iron Fist. They did give him a difference on the boot color, which there's no way, why they decided to go like a light look on the vintage figure. I don't know. I mean, he's still, still using pretty well. I think they could have spaced his heads out just a little bit more so he could try and make him look like he was facing himself. But I guess with trying to not make him too wide and stuff like that. Still, overall, I mean, not a bad figure at all. They went through and they articulated him very well. Body armor was spot on. They gave him the two different looks. Now, I'm glad that they did not go with trying to run some of the purple down the side of the leg. On part of the body like they did with the vintage. They split him right down the middle. Thus giving him that very distinct look of he was two warriors merged together. They made sure the blue side, of course, had that Iron Fist. So, I mean, overall, you can't really complain with the job they did on Too Bad. Not in the least. They kept him pretty accurate to the vintage toy that had the arms to the side. Back is a little rounded, but a little flat at the same time. Can't really complain, go wrong with that one. Not at all, not one bit. So overall, I mean, like I said, he's one of my favorites. I'd have to be just about biased if I said I'm gonna go 5 out of 5 on him. But I'd be biasness. Hey, wait a minute, what? Hey, this is my channel. I'm the angry toy guy here. I get to call that one. So let's look at the issues here. One, it's the arms up on top. They could have went through, kept with the round body style, put the arms down the side, make it look like he was uppercutting. Given the same kind of deal as Fisto and Jitsu. And it'd have been fine, in all honesty. Why they didn't, I don't know. They also could have done something with his hands to where they could have went through and where he could have been holding something, which they might have done with the other one. Had the arms to the side. So, I mean, honestly, while it was a great figure, something that we could all definitely get some fun out of and everything, there was its problems too. And they tried to run that purple down the side of his blue leg and everything. You almost wonder, was the purple side, their intentions on the purple side taking over the blue side? Boy, that would have been a really fucked up looking figure or character. But, if you go through canon enough, you can see where, here's no, he could have been easily able to play both sides, especially with the whole 2000X him being a mercenary, or the two of them being mercenaries. One could have been playing for the good side, one could have been playing for the bad side, another point or some point either. It's kind of iffy on that one. Much like Trapjaw, possibly Merman. Have him going through and playing the field, and like in the UK comic mags, could have went through and one day, use that combined brain power to go through and eliminate Skeletor and the Evil Horde altogether, or Evil Warriors altogether. It's a possibility. I mean, hell, if he was smart enough in like the German audio plays, go through and sneak in the palace to find He-Man's battle armor weakness. Imagine what he could have actually been doing beforehand, especially with 2000X. How much more they could have explored that. In Comic Line, they could have went through and explored that. I said the 2000X figure, like I said, awesome freaking sculpt to it. I don't have to keep saying week after week, talking about the statuesque way those figures were. The sculpt, much like Two Bads, it was really badass looking, in all honesty. And you get to the classics one. Yeah, they went all out, got the detail down, really damn well with him. Arms to the side. They ain't trying to flaunt fanciness like the vintage, and getting the spring-loaded arms. Thank God they didn't do that with Jitsu or Fisto either. It's right here. It's really a badass looking figure. It really is. I can't really complain too much on how they did Too Bad classics wise, because they nailed the sculpt. They didn't try to overdo him in the purple like the vintage line or in the 2000X, or they kept him almost like the 2000X look to that. They gave his purple side more of a monstrous pig looking face, and definitely the blue side, that true evil warrior style look. All in all, can't complain on the classics figure. Yeah, I got my complaints about the vintage one. But he's still one of my favorites. This Bill, when I was a kid and now, he's still one of my freaking favorites. This right here, I'm ever dead, and this thing is still around. For some reason, I've never lost him. Hopefully, God, my family members, hey, throw it in the coffin with him. Give him his shield back. But anyway, so that is my look on Too Bad. And like I said, overall, it's not that bad. There were some problems with the vintage. Classics one, finished, did just right. But overall, one of those characters that really had a really interesting backstory, no matter what line he went with. But let's face it, the MYP series really knocked it out of the park. With that being said, I'm going to get off here so I can go through and try to fix my computer so way I can, download some more videos for you guys. Like I talked about the other day, I'm still trying to get some 80s reviews up and going. Tomorrow night, Syrupy Saturday over at Lucky Legends on Facebook. Make sure you hop in. No idea what tomorrow night's about. Last week got a little lucky. Or did I? Like I said, get over to Lucky Legends, check it out. Tomorrow night for Syrupy Saturday. Make sure you check out all those He-Man pages on Facebook. Or be Lucky Legends, Lord Destruction. Most powerful waffles, most powerful auctions. Also, be sure to check out. Got them. I'll get hatred for this from someone. eBay.com. If you're tired of paying those high prices on eBay, check out eBay. I've gotten quite a few things off eBay. It's not a bad deal. And you don't pay that much more. Yeah. And everything. Oh, I got a feeling somebody's like, hey man, where you at tonight? Why ain't you on doing your show? I am. No one showed up. Also, next week is Lexington Comic Con. I'll probably be trying to do some videos and stuff while I'm at the Comic Con, while I'm there over the weekend. Yeah, I figured I was gonna hear that one. Like I said, anybody that's gonna be in the Lexington area or wants to make a trip down, go ahead and make a trip down. Come check it out. I'll probably be there 3 out of 4 days. Plus that, and one of the original artists that did some of the box work for some of the vehicles of the vintage line will be there. So, like I say, I've got something for him to sign if he'll sign it at a reasonable price. And maybe I can get him to maybe do a little hi to the camera with me a little bit. I'm going to try. But anyways, I'm E-Daddy, your angry toy guy. And next week, by the way, I am going to do, or I'm going to talk about another two-headed monster in Eternia. And hopefully I've got this thing back up and running where I can hopefully try to bring a special guest on with me to have a chat about him, to talk about him. I swear I hate this lighting tonight. So anyways, yeah, next week we're going to talk about Modulok. Who was expecting me to say Modulok or Modulok? Anyways, till next week, I'm E-Daddy, your angry toy guy. And remember, keep on collecting so the line will not die.